The truth is, sometimes we get comfortable with the ordinary, sitting inside the lines others have drawn for us, when there is an entire blank canvas of a world waiting for us to trust fall into solutions to questions not even asked yet, to rise, revise, and recognize that remarkable is not only possible, but it is necessary. It is the result of daring to imagine beyond this partition of parameters, always onwards, upwards, and forwards, towards the whys of ideas redefined, the what-ifs of partnerships, the how can we improve this. This is more than a common belief that in order to succeed, we must always see details 3 steps ahead. This is not about spotting market trends or hopping on bandwagons, because many others have been there, and quite frankly, so have we. But we are also about people. Shorooq, the right fit in the right place, like perfectly timed happenings matching skills with partners already found, where the sum of parts can create platforms only teamwork lets you reach. No, not you, us. Plural, collective. A home field advantage, expertise meeting the opportunity of what we did, are doing, and will do. Investing in holding open doors wide enough for impact to walk through. So we continue being the outlier, the deviation, the above and beyond expectation, the ones uncomfortable with being ordinary. Today is the day. Join Shorooq Partners.
Welcome everyone to your weekly Founders Crushin It, where every Wednesday at 7 p.m. GST time, we go live on LinkedIn, Twitter, and YouTube and grab a conversation with one of the successful founders in our region to learn more about the journey and their industry. If you're watching this through our LinkedIn, Twitter, or YouTube, remember to follow, subscribe, and click that bell icon to get notified with all our news, events, and updates. This show is brought to you by Shorooq Partners, the leading tech investor in the Middle East, North Africa, and Pakistan. And I am your host, Tariq Fouad, Head of Growth at Shorooq Partners, and I want to thank you all for tuning in from wherever you are. Today, we have the pleasure to host Salwa Radwi, the founder and CEO of NUQTAH NFT. As the CEO of Saudi's first NFT marketplace, she's on a mission to bring together a real community of art enthusiasts, blockchain advocates, and passionate individuals to skyrocket the creative economy in Saudi Arabia and in our entire region. Nukta enables local creatives to publish and sell their work seamlessly, serving as a global platform for buyers keen on acquiring the latest NFTs by renowned and emerging MENA artists. Nukta plans to build on the thriving NFT space and utilize the underlying blockchain technology to spearhead innovation in other verticals such as media and entertainment. Without further ado, let's together welcome Salwa Radwi. How are you, Salwa? Great to have you.
Very well. Thank you. How are you? Thank you for having me.
It's our pleasure. Thank you so much for joining us today. And we are super excited to back you up at the pre-seed round. And we can't wait to actually be part of your amazing journey. But I guess in everybody's head, we're interested, first of all, to know who is Salwa Radwi and what in the hell is NFT?
A question that's been popping up way too much. Side
Exactly,
note, did you know it's one of the most Googled words of 2021? Like everyone's Googling this term. إيش يعني NFT? What does NFT mean? Yeah, it was on the Google track record. I was like, okay, مو بس أنا.
Well, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
We'd love to hear it from you.
Absolutely. So Salwa Radwi is a creative first and foremost before anything else. A creative who got into this world early in 2012. I was awarded the Young Saudi Artist of the Year in 2012 by Abdul Latif Jameel, and they actually flew us on an expedition to the UK, and that was basically where it all started. I exhibited one of my own photographs in the British Museum back then, and on that expedition, when we went and saw all these artworks and we met with artists, the whole objective of this expedition was to understand that there is something called a creative economy. And you as a creative ideally can function purely from your creative juices, from your passion. You don't have to have a day job. You don't have to have a 9 to 5. And being a creative can be your day job. And that was a seed that was planted back in 2012, you could say. And moving forward, I just realized that this is something that I do want to take forward. This is something that I'm passionate about, and just enabling a creative and really recognizing that you should not have to spend a day doing something you don't want. Like if you've been gifted as a creative, then might as well have it be your source of income, and have it validated and have it valued. And that was a passion I had way back then. And that was ironically the initiation of Nukta, even though NFT technology wasn't there back in 2012, but the passion goes way back.
Interesting. And tell us a little bit more about this most Googled word in 2020. A little bit more of what makes NFT valuable and what it is today.
Absolutely. So NFT actually stands for non-fungible token. It is a token that comes under the umbrella of blockchain, Web3, and all these terminologies. But I'd rather not go that route in terms of tech. And I want to really humanize the concept and talk about how it's relevant to all of us. So today, when you put your Instagram photos on the internet, the only person who owns that photograph is actually Instagram. The ownership falls under Instagram because you gave them the right to upload that picture there, right? Today, the only person who can finance off of your photograph on Instagram is Instagram. And that's like a lot of missing rights and regulation and ownership, et cetera, et cetera. What NFTs does is it actually gives you ownership on your photograph or the creative's photograph. So if I were to upload my image or my photograph on Nukta and you came and purchased it, the mechanism to purchase it is the NFT token. So it's like a legal signature, but in a token format. And this format gets put on the blockchain, which is non-fungible because you can never remove, never erase. It's there until the end of time. So anyone who comes and asks you about your ownership of a photograph or of that photograph, you prove it through that token or that number. That's one. Number two is it cannot be erased. Number three is every time you resell it, you get a new token number submitted over and over again. Why is that relevant? Because at the end of the day, like gold, like Bitcoin, all of these are investment opportunities and value increases over time, right? So even if it's an artwork or content, for you as someone who invested in an NFT, ideally need to show value. So you can show that on the blockchain over time. So there's like a big picture that I just really humanized and shortened to something that's relatable to us since we all upload on Instagram. But at the end of the day, bottom line is NFT is a mechanism for you to own anything on the internet. We are taking it on the route of digital art, content creation, entertainment, etc., because it's the closest to us. However, it's a technology that's going to take over in the next couple of years as Web3 becomes more and more mundane.
I love how you've humanized it because it actually simplified the understanding behind it, and it seems that every time you Google NFT or you read about it, it all started with arts and collectibles. But after you kind of humanized it, you can also see that the future in NFT is not necessarily in arts and collectibles, but it could be in a lot of other examples. Absolutely. Could you probably shed light on where do you think NFT is going to go other than in collectives and art?
Absolutely. So there's a huge push towards NFTs being the technology under, for example, like luxury goods. So Louis Vuitton, when they basically have a new bag that comes out, what is the mechanism to really prove, number one, that it's a real or versus a fake, what have they started doing? They are actually considering submitting an NFT token from the LV space, proving that this came out of LV1. Number two, that every time someone important buys this bag, it just increases in value. So even a vintage LV with a token ideally shows that how it's even worth more. What I'm trying to say is even the luxury retail scene is plugging NFTs into it just to show ownership and value. These are two words that are always synonymous with the NFT scene. That's just one market that's adapting to it. And content as well. So when you speak of, so this is a recurring question, and like I'd love to address it since we're already on this podcast. Hey, how are NFTs different to Shutterstock? Hey, isn't it the same? Hey, can't I just screenshot? No, guys, no, it's not the same. Shutterstock just gives you the license to use these photographs. NFTs are one, an investment opportunity. Number two, you own it. Number three, it's a contract giving you ownership. You can do whatever you want with it. What I'm trying to say is with that NFT ownership, you can resell. With a license on Shutterstock, you can't. And because I'm a part of the creative scene and because I know content creators and production houses in the region, there's a reoccurring comment. I personally know a content studio in Riyadh that got sued for getting an image off of Shutterstock and using it in a movie behind them, and now they are paying more in legal action than they did for the original movie. That's the power of ownership. So, and moving forward, you can realize like data and content, and there's a lot of protection around this, which is why Web3 is becoming so relevant and so important. Our rights are becoming more important than ever. And the only mechanism for you to prove that ownership is that NFT, right? So it's very important that we adapt to this technology, whether it's in the retail, whether it's on you uploading your images online, whether it's digital art. And then obviously the no-brainer is gone are the days where we invest in just gold or real estate. It's much longer in time. It's less relevant to our generation, and it requires larger sums of money. I'm not saying NFTs are quote unquote less expensive. However, they are more mass. What I mean by that is you and I could both be NFT investors today. And that is actually one of our values at Nukta, where we're breeding this new line of art collectors, you could say. We are done waiting for an old man to retire and like sit down with like billions in his pocket to come and invest in the creatives. You and I should be able to do that. Like, why can we not, you know?
The typical route. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're tapping into that investment mindset and literally breathing that new line of art collector, because NFTs, creative value, it's an investment opportunity. We want people to always realize that those two are synonymous to the term.
I love that. So thank you so much, Salwa. And I think you gave a beautiful understanding and underlying kind of fundamentals of what makes its Nukta, right? And that understanding of NFT is so important because it's such a new space, although it has been out there since 2014, but I think they didn't necessarily kind of catch mass until recently. So I'm interested in, you're out there being the first kind of startup in the NFT space. How are you finding your journey so far? How is it fundraising? How is it, playing around with either integrating with arts and artists and talking to them, and how is it, how is your current, I would say, experience trying to bring in customers on board or creating that market space?
So I think I'll divide that into three routes. So first and foremost, just in terms of like being the first in the region, it's a double-sided sword. So it comes with its pros and cons. So the pros are, there's a lot of support. Alhamdulillah, Shorooq being the first of them. Like honestly, just having you guys push and support throughout is like honestly like a value that I cannot put into words. And as a first-time founder, I think it's very important for other founders to also know that sometimes passion and idea can be worthy just to get started. Like, guys, just get rolling and get the right partnerships, like Shorooq and numerous other VCs in the scene who will help you get you to the next step. But you have to have the energy and you have to have the passion and the idea. And then there are shortcuts, there is support that you can get to move forward, because there are so many people out there who have amazing ideas and just don't know how to convert them into like a physical light, right? And NFTs, no one knows really how it's happening. Lots of research. No one is an expert. We are not experts either, guys. We do our research every day. We have so many hours dedicated to just keeping up with the market because it's such a fast moving scene. But that's where the fun part is, right? We pick up on how the market is growing, and then you come and realize how you can best plug it into this region. So because I assume this is such a new market and it's super high risk, it's super, you could say there's not a lot of data on it today, which can be a con for being the first. Also, there's a huge spotlight, right? So for example, we'll be launching, so we're currently pre-launch, and we'll be launching towards the end, to early next month. And just educating our customers before anything is so time consuming. Like, for any other business to just hop on and be like, hey guys, this is what we're doing, you just have to convince them on the brand or you as a person. But here we are, we're like, hey guys, there's this new technology. They're like, yeah, but why should I? We're like, no, it's good for you. You can make money, you can get credibility, you can make money while you're asleep. This is where the future is. So it's such a longer cycle when it comes to that customer, which was your second point. Education, awareness is a core pillar to Nuqta. And like, regardless of Nuqta as a platform, we are here to just empower and enable the creatives to get the best out of this experience, right? And we want them to know how this is valuable to them. That's number one. And valuable to them as in creatives of the region. So if you take a parallel, we're all familiar with OpenSea. OpenSea is the market leader internationally. They just closed the 13 billion evaluation like 2 weeks ago. So that's crazy numbers. But creatives from our region on OpenSea are unhappy. This is first-hand data that we have researched. They do not relate to the community. NFTs are extremely community-centric. Their stories are not recognized or realized. People do not resonate with their art. And the type of value they get off of this platform is not what they would get if they were on a regional platform like Nuqta, which is our duty today, right? To put them on the pedestal that they should be at, to bring them amongst the community that they want to be within, and to really help them increase value of their work from today, your art is valued at X. With Nuqta, your art can be valued at 10X, because we are going to help you market it to the right people. We'll get you connected to the right communities. And we, number three, because we come third, are the infrastructure for you to do that, because you are primary. Nuqta is very, very community-centric, right? If the creative is unhappy, if the creative does not feel value, then Nuqta does not have value, which is why we spent so much time really walking the creatives by the hand. The first meeting is just, hey, this is the team, just get to know us. We're not selling anything. Tell us about you. Second meeting is like, okay, are you interested? So we really take them by the hand, and the community is a core pillar in that. And that's why I say, once they build that trust in the infrastructure and they feel like, okay, infrastructure, I mean NFT, blockchain, they feel comfortable and they see Nuqta as synonymous to that, only then will they see value, right? And since you asked about Nuqta's plan early on, once we build that trust and they feel like, okay, you guys, I think this is like legit, I think maybe we could trust these people. All this first-hand data that we get from the region is what Nuqta wants to convert into building another layer of enabling NFTs in the region. Today, we're creative-centric. However, that does not mean that we cannot, in the next year and a half, be the enabler or the pillar that helps other creative industries build NFT platforms for the region, because we're building data already, right? We'll still be there for the creatives, and those are the people closest to us. But this is a technology that everyone needs to adapt to, and we'll have ideally and have data on the day that is really crucial to this region. So when today we might be the first, but we don't want to be the first. We want people to ride this wave. Hey guys, help us raise awareness. Hey guys, let's make more platforms. Let's make it a more inclusive community where we're done where it's just the same artist being recycled. It's just the same community being recycled. Let's open doors to more people, to more platforms, right? And then you ride the wave of what OpenSea is doing, for example, being an aggregator where it's more open, where more people have voices. And that's just like a quick walkthrough of what I'm thinking for Nukta. And this is a team vision. Like the team, honestly, like super community centric.
Now, this is not a walkthrough. This is the entire roadmap. Pat yourself on the back. I love your passion. Your passion comes across, and you brought up this beautiful word, which I believe Shorooq Partners resonate with a lot, which is community centric. People at the end, people or businesses do not succeed, people do, right? And at the end, it's that core element that makes anything work or tick. It's the people in the community behind it. And I guess my follow-on question was about in such a unique and maybe new industry or space in the region. What gives you, and being the first, as you said, what gives you this conviction that it's Nukta can win it, can own the space, right? Mm-hmm. What's the community centric, I think, was the big part of it, but maybe there are some other areas where you think this is why we're going to win this.
Yeah. So before we really tackle why it is. Why we'll win it as an NFT-centric platform, I think, so just really making it personal, right? Like I think I speak on behalf of the team on this. Once your values are in play, I think things just ease. I'm a firm believer in, alhamdulillah, God guides you, and just go with your gut and just do the right thing. Karma exists, guys. Have pure intention.
Big time.
Really, big time.
I'll make a session on karma.
I'll watch that one. Absolutely, man. Like, if you have pure intentions and if you have the right focus and you just really want to enable people, right? And then God will just ease that way. So number one is values in check. Number two, I think it comes down to passion. So you mentioned that, and I'd love to, on maybe another call, introduce you to our team. The team, man, their passion is just next level. Like they go out of their way to make that creative or that investor feel so comfortable. And once you build that loyalty today, that's a long-term investment, right? This is why I feel so community is definitely important and is a core, but community is more of a generic term, right? The Nukta team is building personal relationships with these creatives. And we've been giving offline consultancy sessions to creatives, no charge, no nothing. This is irrelevant to our awareness. We're actually helping people just get NFT ready, like, hey, what are the right places to go? Where do you do your readings? How do you create a roadmap? How do you create a collection? And this is the team sitting down on hours just with the creatives, just to get them ready. And that relationship, I believe, goes a long way. And the creative community, by the way, is very small and it's all interconnected where one person speaks to the next. And if you do well, it just grows fast there. That's in terms of the creative scene, but also on the buyer's perspective. Like today, we're also part of the community. So just a little background, I skipped on the intro. I was actually one of the first hires of Saudi's leading entrepreneurship hubs. And these are like young, passionate individuals who like have a couple of dollars and want to invest them everywhere and like super fast paced, super tech driven. And these are the ultimate NFT buyers, right? And these are people who I constantly test the other side of the marketplace with. And not just myself, our operations team as well. They sit down and they're doing beta platform testing and they're literally playing devil's advocate. Like, hey guys, so why should I invest? I don't believe in art, but why should I invest? And these questions, I believe, is just what makes Nukta gives us that edge because one, we're super willing to adapt. Number two, we're super local. And number three is we're super, I don't want to use the word data centric because that's like super entrepreneur lingo, but data works, guys. We're listening to our customers. We know what they want and we're willing to change. We identify ourselves as a database in the middle. Tell us what you want and we'll get it done, and we're willing to adapt and compromise, right? And I feel like that adaptability and that willingness to adjust is what makes it super strong. But
The
passion
agility,
has to be, the passion has to be like a cherry on top. Yeah.
I love it. I love it. You know what? Let me first of all remind everyone who's watching, if you have questions to Salwa, Nukta in specifically, or to Shorooq Partners, please write them down in the comments. We can see them all, and we'll be able to share some of these questions with Salwa at the end for her to answer. Remember as well to like this video, share it, and subscribe to our social media channels. This is at Shorooq Partners. That is at Shorooq Partners on all our social media channels. Salwa, back to you. When you're talking, I'm like, this woman has a lot of energy. I love it. And you're making me quite excited to be part of this movement. I would say, as we coming to close to an end of today's session together, what are some of the things that you're looking out for today in the market?
Mm-hmm. So we all recognize this as a new scene, and finding the right talent can be tough. So I think we've worn a different hat when it comes to really looking for talent and hiring and all of that. Ideal case scenario is, hey, do you have any experience? Hey, how long have you been in the scene? That doesn't work for us. So for us, it's more like, hey guys, are you willing to dive into a super risky environment? Are you willing to literally do research day in and day out just so we can deliver the best product? So today I'd say number one, what are we looking for is just looking for passionate individuals to join the team. We're all about growing the team from different perspectives. So what I mean by that is what you studied is not necessary what you have to give us. Like, we're all about what you're passionate about.
Isn't that true for all of us?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I couldn't agree more. I think no one really says that out loud, though. Let's be honest.
No, it's okay. I think I changed careers like 4 times till I landed where I am. Yeah, I'll create an NFT out of myself sometime.
Alhamdulillah, salama, wallah. That's so true. I think those are the most fun individuals to be around, because you get this all-rounder type of personality, right? Where you studied X and you got experience in Y, and then I was an art curator for a bit, but I'm actually an engineer. And then that full scope mindset, and there's so much value from these individuals, and that's what we're looking for. So that's why the primary layer is passion. If you have passion and you're really interested in the scene, whether it's from the investment part, the tech, so we're very, very aggressively looking to grow our tech team. Anyone interested in the blockchain space, please reach out to us. We have so much room on the team. We're very welcoming. I promise you, we can work out hybrid working as well. So that's the primary aspect for us today. And secondary to that, and alhamdulillah, you were asking about like moving forward and how our user base is doing. Creators, alhamdulillah, we have a great number on our pre-launch waitlist buyers as well. But we can never have enough. The more creatives we enable, the better it is. The more data we get and the bigger the infrastructure gets, the more community driven we get. So to all the creatives that have put away artworks in their drawers while they're doing 9-to-5s in an accounting firm and you hate numbers, please apply. We'll make you money through NFTs. This is your time.
Great stuff. Appreciate it, Salwa. Now, we're getting really good questions here. So probably this is the section where we kind of capture a few questions and get your insights on. So the first question comes on from Yusuf Al-Babtain, which I believe you know really well. And he says, how do you see the local creatives adopting NFTs? Any hinders there? Any difficulties?
So first, the first way I'd answer that question is it is much more positive than I had expected. I had assumed there would be more friction, but I believe the creatives in today's day and age have already felt that there isn't a clear infrastructure. So the government is financing millions from the top, and then these creatives end up not knowing where to go unless you just go to a gallery. So these creatives in the middle are always looking for that space. And then when we come in, we tell them our values as Nuqta, it's like a no-brainer to them. They're like, okay, where do we start? But then the friction comes in when you come and explain the technology aspect of it. And that's where we walk them by the hand. So we tell them the benefit of the technology before anything. So their constant anxieties were revenue, ongoing revenue stream, safety of their work, security. Will I get money instantly? How does it work? And these are points we're taking them through. So we're like, hey guys, yes, your rights will be there. The commission is much lower than the regional average. The way you get money, it works this way. People can finance you through a credit card. How do you get your money in return? And there's always this question in the region like, hey, is crypto real money? It's fine, guys. We can pay you back in riyal, ala dirham. Like we're doing that for the region, right? And which is a struggle for us as a startup to maybe make that process super efficient. But working with the creatives, we're working on the best way to do so. So
it's a long-term bet. Yeah.
Absolutely. So long story short, how do I see adaptation? I see it going much better than I expected. And the fact that our creative waitlist is already on triple digits with only like 12 Instagram posts, I think that's doing wonders for us.
Love it. Another question from Falah Al-Ahbabi. Thank you, Falah, for asking, and I think you touched upon this question throughout your presentation today, or your session. Sorry, my apologies. I've been in meetings for all day.
No worries.
Presentation comes out naturally. How differentiated Nukta is to other NFT marketplaces? What is the competitive edge? So probably you can touch upon this again, and specifically for Falah.
Absolutely. Thank you for that. So primarily, I'd say NFTs being super community driven, which makes the local aspect very relevant to them. And this is not only online, offline as well. So Nukta is hosting meetups. We sit with creatives one-on-one to show them the advantage for this reason and just connecting them to like-minded individuals and increasing the value of their art for the region. That's one. Curating their experiences. So the NFT scene internationally today is functioning on Discord, for example. So Discord is where NFT collections increase in value. But today in the region, people are not Discord versed. So what is Nukta doing? We have a full-time curator that we just hired who is literally just creating the creative experience as a gallery would, but adapting it to the NFT sense for this region. So that middle ground where we literally skip over this line of international, local is a main differentiator. And then third, we've really eased the process of financing. So we have local credit card payment, for example. Creatives can get paid back in local currencies as well. We're taking the transition from Web 2 to Web 3 very smoothly. We're trying, so we don't want to overwhelm the creative. All the creatives in the region who are on OpenSea have, for example, since you asked about other platforms, is like, it's too much, it's too tech. I don't know how it works. Where does my stuff go? So that's one thing we're doing. And like, I think a very, very important differentiator to the, other than local and all of that, is how Nukta is a curated experience. So if you're familiar with the benchmarks, we lean towards foundation and wearable where creatives apply, and then we create that experience in batches. So the value of the artwork is higher, as opposed to OpenSea being an eBay Harraj kind of experience.
Yeah.
Like, no, let's create that experience. So those are like 4 main pillars. But Falah, I can DM you later the full list. Yani, we can do that later.
Thank you so much, Falah, for asking.
No.
We're getting great engagement here and great questions from the audience. Just to kind of break things up, Rima is sending, saying, can she join the wait list and get first dibs? But on a more I would say serious note, she's asking, has the local market demand for NFTs? So I think that is more on the buy side. So, other than the network of the tech savvy guys that you were talking about, how do you see the buy side shaping up?
So I think this is also a very, very timely question. The blockchain cryptocurrency side in the region, you could say, is very, I don't want to say hush hush, but like we have some of the biggest crypto investors in the region. So Rain just closed $110 million round, I think 2 days ago, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
And that's just to give you an idea of where the markets is at and where their transactions are at. So that's the buying power of the region, right? And that's the buying power of the region, and NFTs is another mechanism under that bracket. Just imagine the value of that. That's number one. Number two, when international entities like Binance, Coinbase, et cetera, are looking at these transaction values on their databases, and they recognize that NFTs could actually be a standalone because of the demand in relevance to cryptocurrency. That should give you an idea of how internationally NFTs are literally leading already. And it's inevitable that it comes down to this region. So this region is already leading in cryptocurrency. So why would they not lead in NFTs as well? You get what I mean?
Makes sense.
Yeah. So this is not my personal opinion. This is based on data in the market, and we're just adapting it.
No, great way to answer this question. Thank you so much, Rima, for asking. I mean, you're a superstar, Salwa. You're getting a lot of engagement around. So I promise I'm going to ask you the last question. I'm going to let you go. So that question is from Abdul Mohsen, and he's asking, how do you think NFTs are going to evolve in the next probably just year or 2 or 5 years down the line?
So we were actually working on this, on some research. So Nuqta's working towards its seed round, and like we're just getting how NFTs are going to evolve, so we can predict the next 2 years, 3 years, 4 years. And we realized that today's NFT transaction, 70% of that is more of a gamble. Why? Because it's such a new scene, and people are still figuring out how it works, where it works. And then when you go down and really analyze that 70%, you realize that the highest portion is going towards gaming and the arts and luxury and culture. So that's like a main pillar that is in the next 2 years. But in the long run, what I believe, and this is just a personal opinion based on some humble reading, is it is ideally going to take over all portions of digital assets online. There will not be a portion of data on the internet that is not owned by someone, because Web 2 allowed you to easily search and find data. Web 3 is going to allow you to easily own data. And data owning is a primary pillar moving forward for corporations, for individuals, for creatives aside. So I see it being a primary mechanism to just live in the future. Like we're all familiar with Facebook's rebrand, the metaverse guys. Nike has bought land over there. We're all inevitably going in there. And how do you think these transactions will happen on that scene? Those are NFTs, right? It's not a coincidence that MasterCard just announced a partnership and Visa is looking to have NFT checkouts, because our parents, so as a quick example, our parents shopped on Nike stores. They walked into the stores, and we do www.nike.com, and then our kids are going to do Nike in the metaverse. And how are they buying it? They're buying it through NFTs, guys. That's how it's evolving. So that's just my 2 cents, at least.
Love it, Salwa. This has been one of the most amazing talks we've ever had. We really appreciate your passion and your energy and your knowledge. Thank you so much for joining us today. So everyone, visit itsnukta.com today to know a lot more about this fascinating space, startup, and founder and team behind Saudi's and the region's first NFT marketplace. From everyone here, we really want to thank Salwa for what she brings in today. Thank you so much, Salwa, for joining us. To everyone, make sure that you tune into more. We have a new series that we're starting next week that is dedicated to venture debt. So stay tuned for that. And I'll be joined by my colleagues Nathan Kwan and Samir Yamani to tell you a little bit more about the venture debt space and to get all your questions from the venture debt space answered. Remember to follow us at Shorooq Partners. That is at Shorooq Partners on all our social media pages, and visit us today at shorooq.com. Should you want to get contacted by our investment team, click that Get Funded button that you will find on our website, and we'll reach out to you right away. For everybody who has asked questions and engaged with us, thank you so much. And till then, ma salama.